Hey guys, welcome to another video. Yes, I just did the video of what's happened to me. If you want to know all about that, watch that video. This is the video of all the movies I saw since I've been away. Yes, all the films I've watched in the past month and a half since I've been gone. I've seen quite a few movies. Actually, a lot of them was like last week or like 5 days ago. I watched within like 2 days, I watched like 6 movies that I just missed out on. And a lot of the movies I watched were really fucking terrible. But I needed to see how terrible these movies were. Like, I really want to know how bad they were. So, there's a bunch of movies I'm going to talk about. A lot of people have reviewed these movies, but again, I've been away, so here are my opinions on them. I gotta talk about Borderlands first. This is the one I gotta just get out of the way because everybody is saying that this is the worst movie of the year, one of the worst video game adaptations. It is just an absolute disaster, and everybody's right. It's bad. It's really bad. Eli Roth is not a very good filmmaker. He shockingly made a fun horror movie last year with Thanksgiving, but he's back to his trash with this trash Borderlands. I'm going to just say right now, I'm not a Borderlands fan, really. I haven't really dived into the games. I played the Telltale game. I thought that was an alright game, but I'm not really a Borderlands guy. I was more of a COD. Even I dived into a bit of Halo and mostly Gears of War. I'm not a Borderlands fan, so I don't know how the fan base, I'm assuming they fucking hated it, but even me not being a huge Borderlands fan, I could tell they just demolished the game, the characters that were part of this game series. It's an insult. If this was like a Final Fantasy movie, I would have been outrageous. Hence why Last Airbender is one of my least favorite movies of all time. Same with Dragon Ball Evolution, because those are things that mean so much to me. So I couldn't imagine what Borderlands fans think of this trash movie, but I'm judging it as a movie. It's a bad movie. The acting is bad. The action is bad. The writing is bad. Everything is just awful. I don't know why. I don't know who was the casting director and who thought this cast was right for these roles. I'm not, again, a huge Borderlands fan, but I know none of these people are right. Kevin Hart is way too old and small. Cate Blanchett's too old. Jamie Lee Curtis is too old. Jack Black just doesn't work as that voice. Like, none of... Whose idea was it for these actors to play these roles? None of them fit properly. And none of them had any ounce of chemistry with each other. It very much tried to be like Guardians of the Galaxy, but like Borderlands Guardians of the Galaxy. They don't even have the visual style of the Borderlands games. This is like Doom level bad, like the movie Doom. Like, it is embarrassing how trash this movie was. Not one thing was done right. And it tries to be hilarious. This movie thinks it's so funny and so clever, and it's not. And like, once again, I'll say it again, I'm not a Borderlands fan, but I know they put a lot of Easter eggs and references to the games super forced and super, super cringe. It is fucking terrible. It's a disaster of a film. I didn't think any one of them did a good job. None of the actors did a good job. Nothing was funny or entertaining. Even someone who isn't a Borderlands fan just wants to watch a fun action sci-fi movie. It's not even a good action sci-fi movie. It's clunky. It's terribly directed. The CGI is awful. The action is poorly constructed. And the story is as predictable and as safe as you can name it. It is a story you've seen a bajillion times in sci-fi action movies. It's basically Guardians of the Galaxy. It's really bad. It's a terrible film. Easily one of the worst films of the year. It is a 1 out of 10. A disaster. Easily going to make the worst of the year for me. It's bad. Speaking of bad, The Crow. The Crow, again, just like from Borderlands, from the trailers, I knew this would be a terrible movie. It looked stupid. The visuals looked bad. I don't know what Bill Skarsgård is even doing, and I don't know what this director's doing. Like, The Crow, the original Crow with Brandon Lee, is one of my all-time favorite superhero movies, comic book movies. It's so good. It was so underappreciated. I know a lot of people love it now, but it was so underrated. It made a lot of really bad straight-to-DVD sequels, which are trash, but the original film is so good. It has a great style to it. Brandon Lee's great. I just love that movie. I watch that every Halloween season. It's such a good movie. The soundtrack kicks ass. The action is so good. It works. It just works. And it's not a movie you could ever duplicate. You can't remake it. You can't bring that magic back. And boy, do they try. They really fucking try. They try to be a lot more edgy and heavy, a lot more vulgar, crass, bloody, violent. It tries to put in the extreme modern music, and it is ridiculous. Bill Skarsgård is awful in this movie. The action is awful. The story is almost basically a paint-by-number story of the original Crow, but with some differences. They changed the ending, which it's so bad. I don't know. It tries to put a lot more heart in the movie. It doesn't show in the trailers. It doesn't, like, The Crow was like a spooky movie. It was like a Halloween kind of movie, and it had this like atmosphere to it. There is no subtlety and atmosphere in this movie. This movie is so in your face and trying to be so edgy. It's just stupid. And I could not stand this movie. I was probably more angry at this movie than I was at Borderlands. Even though I think they're both trash. But I love The Crow so much. And every time I see a bad Crow movie, it hurts. Because I hate all the Crow movies except the original. The original is so good, but those like straight to DVD sequels, one had like Edward Furlong in it, are just so bad. And then there's just another bad Crow movie, a remake of the original classic, and it's disgusting to watch. And it's just, again, I don't even know if even if you're not a Crow fan, you just watch this movie as a standalone movie. It's cringy, it's dumb, it's badly acted. And once again, I don't know why these filmmakers don't know how to put together and construct good action sequences. The action is so quick. It's got shaky cam, bad edits. You can't feel the punches when he's like punching people. It's just so bad. I'm like, do none of these directors know how to film action? Does no one know proper choreography or good camera movements? It's insane. Also, the lighting in this movie, there is just so many shots. I just couldn't see a damn thing that was happening. The Crow, the original movie, all takes place at night, but you can see every shot because it's done beautifully. The cinematography in that movie is top notch. Cinematography in this movie is crap. And I don't know who the lighting guy was, but man, get some better fucking lights. And the editing. Oh, the editing is bad too. Like everything about this, it's like Bohemian Rhapsody bad of editing. It's a trash movie. It was fucking terrible. 1 out of 10, just like Borderlands. It's one of the worst movies of the year. It's really bad. Now I'm going to talk about a movie that no one's talking about now. It came out, people saw it, and now everyone's forgot about it. And that is M. Night Shyamalan's Trap. When this trailer came out, everybody was talking about this movie. They were theorizing about the movie. Everyone was saying, like, this is going to be one of Shyamalan's best movies. Everybody was talking about it. The trailer was a huge hit. So many likes and so many views. And then the movie came out and no one gave a shit. People just saw it and they were like, yeah, it was alright. And I'm like, come on, guys. Come on. It's Shyamalan. I'm not a fan of Shyamalan, but hey, it's Shyamalan. He's always got people talking about his movies. And then I watched it. I guess I'm with the majority. Yeah, it's a movie. It's not very good. It's not terrible. Like, Josh Hartnett. Like, I like Josh Hartnett. I think he's a good actor. I feel like he's never gotten the right material, but, like, when he's good in movies, he's very good. And he's good in this movie. I liked him a lot. And I like the story about, like, they're trapping this, like, killer, and he's the killer, and he's trying to escape and stuff. I'm just going to say right now, I'm not going to spoil the twist, because that's what a Shyamalan movie is the twist. What a twist. I'm just saying, people's theories and predictions of what the twist was is a lot more interesting than what the actual twist is in the movie. I heard theories and people putting theories together of what the movie's all about, and they were a lot more creative than what Shyamalan gave us. I was very underwhelmed by this movie. I thought the first, 40 minutes, I would say 50, almost an hour, was engaging. I wanted to know where it was going. It kept me interested and invested. I was like, okay. And then when it gets to the nitty gritty and what it's all about, super underwhelming, very disappointing. I'm like, oh. And then in the last half hour, I was checked completely out. I just could care less about what was going to happen to any of these characters. So to me, the movie fell apart. And I think it really hurts the movie. And I think I think I can actually say it's not very good because it doesn't deliver on the goods. It has a good build-up, but a shitty payoff. And when you're watching a mystery thriller, it has to have a good payoff or it doesn't work. So, yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give Trap 5 out of 10. There was potential and good stuff in it, but as a whole, it doesn't work. All right. Now let's talk about Reagan, the Ronald Reagan movie. This is weird because the audiences love it and the critics hate it, and it's weird because for a movie like this. It is a very conservative, religious movie, so the modern critics, of course, are gonna hate it. But the audiences are just sucking this movie off like it's the fucking masterpiece. It's not, which is a shame because I like Ronald Reagan as president. I think he's a very interesting president. I think he had good ideas and policies. I would have loved actually a proper biopic about Ronald Reagan. Dennis Quaid is good in the movie. I think he does do a good job as Ronald Reagan. Even Jon Voight's in the movie. He's pretty good too. There is just some pacing issues. There's some writing issues. There's an overabundance of sap in this movie, and it just talks about things that they shouldn't be talking about. I don't know what the movie was trying to do, but there are good moments. There's good inspirational moments. There's good, very factual moments about Reagan's life. I liked actually David Henry as the young Ronald Reagan. There's things that the movie tackles that I think is very interesting, and they talk about some of his policies and the things he had to do. And I like that it actually shows flaws with Ronald Reagan as well, so I respect that a lot too. But it goes a little strange, especially kind of with the religious stuff. And I know Ronald Reagan was very religious, so I wasn't put off by it. I'm not the Rotten Tomatoes critics that just hate everything religious or anything conservative, which is ridiculous. I bet if this was a fucking Jimmy Carter movie, they would love it, but I don't know. I thought it was a fine movie. I don't think the audience or the critics are right. I don't think it is a really bad, manipulative, trash movie, but I don't think it is a masterpiece in the best way to do Ronald Reagan's story. I think Ronald Reagan's story deserved more justice, and there's just so many things that they just completely left out. There's stuff that they put in that I liked, but then there's a lot that they left out that they should have put in the movie. Dennis Quaid I thought was a good choice, but again, he just didn't have a shit ton to work with. But I thought the movie was fine. I'm glad I watched it. I will never watch it again. I think the director was the bad choice. They got a kid's director, a guy who directs really bad kids movies to direct Reagan, which is weird. I don't know why they didn't just get someone like a fucking, I don't know, Oliver Stone, even though he's not a great track record. We saw W, but whatever. They should have got someone else. Richard Linklater, I don't know. But, it was okay. I'd give it a 6 out of 10 for Reagan. Not as bad as everyone says. Just saying. It's not that bad. Alright, what the hell is next? Yes, Alien Romulus is the next one I saw. This, interesting. I didn't know what to expect from this movie. Everyone was pumped by the trailers and said, "Holy crap, this is almost like Ridley Scott came back to direct another Alien movie," but he did twice, and but Alien Romulus was directed by Fede Alvarez. This is the guy who did like Don't Breathe and the Evil Dead remake, which are not bad movies actually, pretty good. It's good. Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it. It has the atmosphere of the original Alien. The face huggers are a big like enemy in this movie, and they make them pretty terrifying. It is a truly creepy movie. I will admit, like this is probably one of the scariest Alien movies. Like it went back to the roots of a sci-fi horror movie, like what the original Alien was. It's based on Hear You Scream. It's very much like that. I liked some of the characters. The androids were cool. The cameos were cool too. I think the lead was good too. But there's a lot of like fodder characters that are just there to die. The visuals were great. Very practical. Very bloody and gruesome. There's a couple moments here and there that I'm like, you gotta kind of suspend your disbelief. And there's moments in this movie you just like, how does that character know that? Like, that's not possible. Or there's moments that character does something and you're just like, I don't know about that. But again, it's a movie. You gotta kind of suspend your disbelief. It's not like completely on the. It's not like completely like far fetched. But there's moments I was kind of like, does that make sense? But I thought all in all, it was a good movie. I thought it was enjoyable. I think it is better than like Prometheus and Alien Covenant. It's probably like maybe like the third or fourth best Alien movie. It's not like Alien or Aliens level of great, but it was good. Fede Alvarez did a good job. I was invested with these characters. The aliens, the xenomorphs are back, and they're truly horrifying. They're scary in this movie. And there's some pretty grotesque shit that was pretty awesome to watch. And I left by the end of the movie very satisfied. So, what more can I ask for, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give Alien Romulus a 7 out of 10. Solid movie. Solid movie. What was it? Don't Blink Twice. I was kind of in the mood to watch like an interesting psychological thriller. This is directed by Zoe Kravitz, and it has Channing Tatum in it. And yeah, Channing Tatum playing a role like this is very different. I'm just going to say, I knew right almost like 25 minutes in how the movie was going to end. I literally predicted it. And as soon as it ended like that, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'm like, knew it! I've never, has Zoe Kravitz directed a movie before? I don't know. And I don't give a shit to do the research because Zoe Kravitz is, I'm not like a huge Zoe Kravitz fan. Her directing style is very much inspired by a lot of filmmakers out there. I can definitely see a lot of inspiration. It has a very like Promising Young Woman sort of vibe, and it has a lot of the same message as Promising Young Woman. Yeah, I didn't care for it that much. The acting isn't terrible. Like, all the lead actress is good. Channing Tatum is pretty good. Christian Slater is pretty good. It's just the movie's plot is something I've seen before. And it was super predictable for me. And I just was not invested with this story. I didn't find it thrilling. I wasn't, like, grasping my seat the whole time watching it. I was just like, it's a movie. That literally was it. I was, like, kind of here with it, and my love didn't go up, but my hate didn't go down. It was just kind of there. So that's why it's a 5 out of 10 movie for me. It did nothing. Didn't get an emotional response out of me. Didn't really bring any investment to me. It was just kind of a basic thriller with a very predictable ending and predictable characters and just motivations I all saw coming, messages I saw coming. So it just did nothing for me. It's a movie I watched, and I will never remember it, probably for the rest of my life. So, Blink Twice. Yeah. And lastly is 1992. I wanted to check this movie out for a reason, because Ray Liotta's in it. And I love Ray Liotta. Rest in peace, Ray Liotta. But I also didn't want to check it out because Tyrese Gibson's in it. And I don't think Tyrese Gibson is a very good actor. But I'm going to say I didn't hate this movie. It's from the director of Rambo Last Blood, which is a movie I actually don't hate. But it brought me back to the old 90s kind of like urban movies like New Jack City and like Belly and Juice and stuff. So it reminded me of also like Tyrese's old days when he did Baby Boy, which is like his best movie. So it reminded me of like those old school like urban movies, which I was really on board because I grew up with movies like Boys in the Hood and Friday, and yeah, I felt like this was almost an F. Gary Gray kind of movie. Like I was like, did F. Gary Gray do this? This is like I feel it's almost like a Negotiator vibe, but like I thought it was enjoyable. It was like a heist movie. Obviously, like a father-son movie, corruption, the criminal underbelly, and of course, in the streets. And it's a enjoyable film. Tyrese is actually quite tolerable in the movie. Ray Liotta could have been used a lot more, but he was good. Scott Eastwood was good. I was actually kind of invested with this movie. I thought it was enjoyable. I was having fun. It was entertaining. I like movies like this. I like movies like Boys in the Hood and Baby Boy, and again like New Jack City and stuff. Like I like those kind of stories, and yeah, I enjoyed it. It is not for everyone. Again, like Blink Twice, it is pretty predictable. It is sort of a movie it's a movie that's kind of been done before, but it's a style I like. I get invested with these kind of settings, with these kind of characters. It's very like Grand Theft Auto and stuff. Even though I'm not a huge Grand Theft Auto fan, but a movie like this, I get invested with movies like that. So Blink Twice just didn't interest me, but I know a lot of people really enjoyed that movie. And they're like, hey, that's my kind of shtick. This shtick I like. It's not perfect. I wouldn't even say it's all that amazing, but it's entertaining and it's enjoyable. It had some cool scenes, had some cool heist scenes, had some badass one-liners. I liked it. I thought it was well directed. There was no sloppiness to it, and there was actually a lot of passion put into it. So I'd recommend 1992. I'd actually give it a solid 7 out of 10. I thought it was good. So there we go. Those were it. Those were the movies I watched. Tomorrow I'm actually going to see Beetlejuice, so hopefully I can get a review out for you guys for that movie. So yeah, glad to be back. Thank you guys for watching. Join the dark side.